Hello everyone, welcome to our Team Fortress 2 commentary, and today we'd like to talk about the matchmaking update. So as everyone knows, I was not around for the matchmaking update, and I was kind of caught off surprise, because when last time I played Team Fortress 2 was about 4 years ago, and was definitely different. I remember the last time playing was on the main versus machine update. It was very different, as everyone knows, and I was caught off guard with the new matchmaking. I was kind of impressed at first. It was just fake first impression, because I started looking deep into it. So I will talk about my opinion of the matchmaking update, of what I think, what could be done to improve it, and what is bad about it. And first of all, this is just my opinion. It's not based off anyone else's. It's just from my own experience with matchmaking. Let's get started. So first off, casual mode is actually a really interesting concept, because before we only had quick play, in which we would end up in either community servers or vault servers, and it was just absolutely random. At least now we know where we're going. We know that the ping is always going to be smooth and nice. My ping's always about 40, only once it was about 200, or when I have bad internet connection moments, but it's always nice, smooth. It's never having much problem. The idea of the casual, I understand what Valve is doing. They are trying to let new players join the game easier and have more of a way to build up their level in the game. I'm not talking about the ranking system, I'm talking about their own skill level. That's why it's called casual. It's just kind of practice with other players. I think you get what I mean. And I find it a really neat idea. I think something Team Fortress 2 really needs, because before we would have to teach each other how to play the game, and with the casual mode we kind of learn. People are learning through different ways. Like I was already good pyro 6 years ago, and now that I saw the new update, I had to get used to new updates in about a week. I was already used to it. I learned it all by myself. I didn't need help, so I can say that the casual mode is kind of doing a good job of what it's supposed to do: teach new players how to play the game so they can become more competitive and better players. But of course, every good play, there's the bad fish in it. And the thing is, the matchmaking update is not working out very well. I think everyone already said this. It has been nearly a year. We haven't had the pyro update yet, and we are having a lot of problems with the matchmaking. So first of all, the map pool. I don't prove the map pool. Okay, it has all the good maps, all the classics, but kind of would be appreciated more custom maps. The option of enabling custom maps, maybe actually adding the quick play back, have it in casual, competitive, and quick play, because I would like to join random community servers. That would be a great idea. But for the casual, I would like to have more maps, because the maps right now I only play payload, which is the only one that I actually enjoy playing, because CDF is broken, while the maps are broken, and 5CP is just a flawed system, and the attack defense is just not even the game itself, it's just the players. I really don't like the kind of players I normally find in attack and defense. I'll get that later. And it's becoming a problem with me, because I had to exclude excellent maps only because of the fact that players are not playing by how it is meant to be played. They are kind of just being straight up overpowered, and the map kind of gives them an advantage. And I like those maps like Gold Rush, Hoodoo, and those, but at least against the people I play, I always end up with disadvantage. Not even as just pyro, as soldiers, medic, as engineer. And look, that I'm not a bad engineer or medic. I actually am the best as a medic, but the enemy team is always with the upper hand. I never understand why. I think it may be because of how they're organized, which is my next point. It's been a terrible thing having 12v12 matches. I do not enjoy 12v12. I rather much more Highlander and 6v6, although Highlander is just the format of 9v9 because class limitations on casual is not a good thing since everyone has practiced their own thing. Like me, sometimes in a team of 3 pyros I end up being the 4th because I'm trying to practice pyro, so it will be kind of against the whole point of casual of practicing new players. But the thing is, the amount of players 12v12 is kind of a huge spam, especially when the enemy team has like 3 medics and 3 heavies and a soldier. That kind of end up being really overpowered, because on 6v6 or 9v9 people are going to be more considerate about what they're choosing, since the team is smaller, you have pick better, so it won't end up being as much of a spam. But 12v12 ends up being really spamming, let's say that, because I fought countlessly time. I fought so many times heavies and soldiers in such a large amount that I didn't have a chance. And not even just a pyro, also as a soldier I couldn't even beat them. I actually feel sorry for the spies, because the spies are the ones that has to get the flank, and for them it's really hard. So I kind of feel sorry for them having to deal with this, even worse than I do. And another thing that I find really bad is one thing that's hopefully getting fixed. They said they are working on it, and so hopefully it will be good. Is adding an elo system, because elo system is level ranking. Because as you know, there's the level system in the game. I'll talk about that in a bit. And simply the levels are not. They don't mean anything in the game. Like, you don't get rewards or anything, and simply ends up being a waste, since when you're queued up for a match, you end up with free-to-plays level 1, people that installed the game like 10 minutes ago, or people about level 10. I myself am level 86 or 88, somewhere around that, and I find it incredibly unfair, the enemy team having 3 level 150 and about 4 of about level 80 or 60, and then the rest of my team only having like 100 something, 280 something, and then the rest just level 1 to 12. It ends up being really unfair. I don't get it why I'm always the bad team. Maybe it's because of my level. I think there may be a elo system. Maybe they see the bad players and think if you add in a good player, the good player will teach those new players how to play the game. But no, we won't help new players, and we're actually going to laugh at their face, because we've all been through there, and at least me, I find it really funny, because once upon a time I was a really terrible pyro that didn't know really how to reflect or even how to switch to melee at the right time, and I just got myself killed all the time. Actually, that was 2 months ago, a little. Nowadays I'm better, but I was pretty bad, and no one would teach me, and in fact people would laugh at me, because of course I'm a bad pyro, I'm a bad player. So that's actually why I always played on practice mode when I was playing the game 6 years ago, because then I wouldn't annoy other people with my bad playing. So I think I get what you're going for, but we have the request coach option. Kind of make that more of a feature, stand that out in the menu, say like if you need help with playing the game you can request a coach or something. Because if you drag in a bunch of free-to-plays to a match, against 150 levels or something like that, you're guaranteed to lose because they're not going to know how team formation works, how the metagun works, how the heavy should be doing things, and even what the pyro should be doing, because I see a lot of free-to-plays not using the pyro correctly, especially with the flog and the backburner. So it ends up being pretty bad, especially for skillful players like me. I know I'm not truly the best, but I'm kind of average good, so I kind of am in the position to say that seeing free-to-play is kind of sad, especially like in the video of the medieval mode I recorded. I kind of sucker punched a spy that dropped down onto my face and just tried to flank me, even though I'm staring at him, and that wasn't working. That's the kind of spy you end up seeing on the matchmaking. And the elo system is being really needed because I am tired of playing against new players that doesn't know what, not even against, just overall teams. Both mine and the enemy has players that doesn't know what they're doing, like spies that don't check their backs, engineers that build nests instead of spreading out. Like, there will, just so you know, people were so happy that I was a good engineer that they started thanking me in the chat for building and spacing a safe spot. Yeah, that's how bad it is. Okay, so next up is the fact that I leave matches a lot. Not during the match, because even my team sucks, I try my best because I'm not being judged by the team, I'm being judged by my skill play, by situations I'm found in, and I analyze that and not my team. And so whenever I finish a match, I leave the server, because if my team sucks, I don't want to play with them anymore and try to find a new team. But the thing is, matchmaking drags you back into the match. I don't know why. If they start a new payload map that is selected on mine, which is pretty much all of them, I just get dragged into the same team. Sometimes my team is really great, but I'm like, they're probably going to vote for CDF, so I'm going to leave first. And then I get back and they got payload, and now I'm on the enemy team, in which was pretty bad, and now I'm with the suckers. Actually, that happened today. I was pretty happy that I managed to get back onto my team. But you get what I mean. I'm tired of leaving matches and just be dragged back into there. If I left a match, means I want to see new people, I want to see new players, I want to have variety in the players I'm playing with. And that's kind of really upsetting, just be dragged back. And now my next point is, I'm tired of playing with the same fucking people. Every day, I see the same people. It's like the same park. I'm just walking in the park as a pyro, and I see a bunch of the same people. It's always the same people. Mr. Raymond, Yi, Dane without sound, Batman Fornatis. There's a lot of people. I know every single one of the Brazilian gamers of Team Fortress 2 because I play with them a heck of a lot. And the thing is, simply I'm tired of meeting always the same people. I mean, the matchmaking is a way of getting you into new teams, new players, new minds, new play styles, and that is not being possible the way it's being held, because you can only join matches around your area. I want to join from the US servers or the UK servers. My ping is not too high from those regions. I play competitive in those regions on Team Fortress 2 Center, and no one ever complained about my ping, so it's not a bad thing. Because my ping on the US is about 150 and in the UK is about 200. It's not too bad. It is bad, can be bad, especially if you're a pyro, but it is not too bad. It's still manageable and I can play with it. So I ask Valve, I beg you, please add a region selection. I don't want to play in Brazil anymore. I don't want to play with Chile. I don't want to play with anywhere around South America, or at least the ones I keep playing over and over and over again. because I already know every single person that plays Payload, and I'm sick of it. I don't want to see those people over and over again anymore, because it'll be the same as just inviting them for a private server. So it's kind of needless, the matchmaking, if it's the same people. So I kind of like the variety of choosing not who I play with, but at least not being the same people I just played with. Not putting you back in the same server, putting you in the new teams, adding the variety of other regions because you have the ping limit, and that is not helping, because it always puts me back onto Brazilian servers even when there's only American servers. That is true. I watched the number of the amount of servers. There's barely any Brazilians about 5 a.m. in the morning, and matchmaking puts me only in the Brazilians. They don't put me in the American servers, even though there's a fucking lot. So I would appreciate, Valve, if you would let me choose the region I'm playing at, because that would help me a lot. I would have more fun, and I will be enjoying meeting new players, new teams. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, why is the matchmaking good? The concept is a great idea, I just talked about in the beginning. But the good thing about the matchmaking, it's kind of opening doors for both new players and skillful players to see new teams. See new teams, new playstyles, new compositions, new team formats, etc. Of course, you get those, I want to spawn camp all day long with my 2 medics and my 3 heavies. You get those kind of guys. Actually, I had to deal a lot with those. I just left the server, of course, but... And kind of opens up the door. When you find a good match, you find a good match. That's the thing. Normally, it's like a big bowl of cereal, and all of them's trash, but there's like one gold piece inside. That gold piece is the one good match you're gonna find in your day. And I find it sometimes. Normally is with reasonable teams that understands concept of battle, they understand the formats, they understand how to counter teams, and understand mainly the formation of 9v9 Highlander. So it ends up being much better having one of each class and having the extras being free to play and etc. Because pros like me and Sarah ends up being only one of each class. Like if I see one engineer, I'm not going to use engineer because there's already one. Is enough. Maybe a free to play will want to, but I don't have to because there's already one. If the guy really knows what he's doing, then I don't have to. And that's what I'm enjoying about the matchmaking, is because the skillful players understands this and they help out each other. Because the past few days I was playing engineer and I had a really bad team. A spy was stepping my sentry, the sentry was blocking my way from killing the spy. I killed him with a critical hit, by the way. And simply, I could not kill him, and there was 2 soldiers, a medic, and I think a pyro in the background. They were all just watching the scout spy, just laughing on my face and saying thank you for letting me destroy his sentry. That got me really, really enraged, I gotta tell you that, because it wasn't even the spy, because the spy was doing his job. He was destroying sentry. Of course, he died right after because I critiqued him in the face. But my team, I was mad at because they wouldn't help at all. The soldier could have killed the spy since he was right in front of the spy. And he didn't. He just sat there. But when I'm on a good team, if I play as engineer, they all understand the concept, they all understand what has to be done to protect the engineer, to protect the pyro, to protect the medic. So ends up being good. Now, the thing I really need to talk about is the level system. Valve, please make this something. I mean, right now it's just literally numbers. That means absolutely fucking nothing. And that is really annoying me, because we don't have a reload system, so you could have not added this. because then it would be much faster to make the matchmaking, and you could have added more stuff to the matchmaking. Maybe more class balance, maybe more stuff for the pyro, maybe a weapon for the heavy thralls. So you get what I mean. You have no rewards for leveling up. You don't have rewards for winning matches. You have nothing. I would like a random drop, a random crate, anything. I would like it. Maybe a strange every 20 levels, and every 5 levels a unique item, and every 50 you get a taunt or something. That would be a neat idea, having little prizes. If you get such level, you get a such item, an extra random item of such classification. Again, like every 20 you get a strange weapon. I could get a strange frying pan, a strange backburner. I already have one, but you get the idea. And maybe actually 50 levels you get a random taunt. Not even strange, just a random taunt. I could get the Shredgar alert, the laughing one. It'd be nice to have random taunts because some people don't have the money. I do sell my comics. I am starting to have a job, so I do have the money to buy taunts and weapons. But there's people that don't. They suffer a lot to get their stuff. So it's kind of unfair, you know. So I think it would be nice to have a little reward for everyone that is starting up the game, that is leveling up, that is learning the game. It would be actually really nice because it would give them a reason to keep leveling up, because so far the only reason you have to level up is to see your medal change, and I find that entertaining because I already am used to Team Fortress. With or without rewards, I would keep playing because I enjoy Team Fortress. But Valve, think about the new players. They don't love Team Fortress as much we do, as much the community does. They need an incentive, a motivation to keep going. If you put these rewards up every such levels, you are gonna get new players into the motivation to get better at the game, and having more experience to experienced players. If they kill more by each kill, by each assist, instead of being just points, couple hundred, do this. Pick their score in the game, multiply by 10. That could be their score, their points that will be added to their experience. That is a neat idea. You could well disagree with it, but I think it's a good idea because if it's their score in the match means they did something, so they know at least what they're doing. Not that they know what they're doing, but they are at least able to do what they're supposed to, or at least are being able to do something. You get the idea, you get it. Now, what could be done to improve? First off, the level system, I just said it. Second of all, actually I already talked about what could be improved. Adding the elo system, not pushing you back into the match you just left, adding more maps, and mainly the not the elo system, I mean the level system. Also the region selection, because I would like to play in the US. I would like to meet the community in the US. I know the community in Brazil, it sucks, there's barely any good players. I would like to meet the Americans. Now, there's the competitive mode, which I have never played. Yeah, better or not. But from what I've heard, this is entirely not my opinion. It's only from what I've read, from what I've seen online. And they've got a lot of things to fix. First off, 6v6 is not a good format for training people for competitive, because competitive mode is obviously just kind of a practice for the actual competitive, like Team Fortress 2 Center, UGC, and etc. So it'd be nice to have both 6v6 and 9v9. Well, I don't really have to comment much about this because Uncle Dane already did a video about this. The link will be in the description if you're interested. And now the most important subject of all. You know the team heavy and team power, of course. Everyone knows it. I when I got back in the game, I was already knowing it because I kind of was already into the stuff. But anyways, I didn't have the chance to talk about which side I'm on. I'm not on Team Pyro. That's right, I am a Pyro main that is not on Team Pyro. I am Team Heavy. Now, I have a reason too. Because the Pyro has a great loadout. I mean, the variety of weapons for the Pyro is excellent. They are perfect. The backburner, the Phlogistonator. Okay, the Phlogistonator is kind of overpowered because of how it's used. But if a Pyro uses how it's meant to be, it's good. It's a good weapon. The Degreaser. There's one other that can... Oh yeah, it's a reskin, so never mind. The Scorch Shot, it's kind of good. The Detonator, I love it. There's a few others, especially the Melees one. I love all of the Melees, even the Sharp-Shaped Volcano Fragment. Because even though that one sucks on normal game mode, it can be really useful for when you just air blast people or fighting pyros, because they will burst into flames for a little, and if you have a sun stick scout around, they can help you out. So the pyro has a good loadout. I think he only needs a shotgun flare, like it's the flare but the shotgun, a flamethrower that extinguishes teammates instead of burning people. I think that would be a neat idea. Would be kind of a support pyro instead. And a market guardian for the pyro. Please, Valve, make this a reality. I need a market guardian for the pyro. I mean, we all saw Skate-Shack. We know what is possible to do with the pyro with the detonator. And mostly of all, a flare jumper is like the rocket jumper or sticky jumper, but for the pyro is like a detonator, but for practice, you know. So anyways, the reason why I picked Team Heavy is because of the fact that the pyro's loadout is already pretty balanced. The backburner is perfect. I think it could have more speed, but it's good enough as it is. The Degreaser is perfect, even though I missed a universal switching time. The Phlogistonator would be nice having the damage penalty in the back. And yeah, there's a few others that I just forgot, but whatever. But the pyro is good overall with the loadout. The only problem with the pyro is mechanics, and the mechanics are urgent things. So regardless of which team you pick, they're gonna get pyro is getting these changes. He is getting mechanical changes. The flamethrower really needs mechanical changes because my ping is above 200. The flames won't hit anyone. I don't get it why, but it happens. So it ends up being something that really needs to be fixed. By the love of God, please fix it. And now, the reason why I picked Team Heavy. The Heavy. Have you ever seen a Heavy main do something other than being a human mid shield for your team? I think not. So that's why I picked Team Heavy. Heavy doesn't have a subclass. Heavy doesn't have a variety. He only has a few miniguns, but other than that, he's just a walking meme. He has a supportive item, yes, the sandwich. He has good melees, yes he has, but you know, it's just variety of the same melee. But the pyro has variety a lot in his melee. The neon, the extinguisher, there was one other, I can't really remember top of my head right now, but the pyro has a pretty good loadout for his melees. The engineer doesn't have much variety with his melee, but it has a reason, it's a range. It doesn't have much variety to add it. But the heavy is his fists. There is a lot of variety, there's a lot of things that could be added. And the weapons he has right now could have a lot of changes, I would appreciate that. And his minigun could have more supportive miniguns and more ambush miniguns, because the pyro has the backburner. Because if you think about it, the heavy is just a long range pyro. So if there was a backburner version for the heavy, I think that would be great, but instead of critical, it would be mini crits. I think that would be nice. You can talk about it in the comments. And that's all I have to say about the matchmaking update. So far, my final conclusion is that it's being okay. It's not being bad, it's not being good, it's average. I'm enjoying my time on Team Fortress 2. I miss quick play. I wish I could go back to quick play because I could just go into community servers. And then, well, I have a bad time with bad teams, but when I get an average or good team, it ends up being really fun. Maybe a medic that knows what he's doing, a deadman that knows how to destroy sentry, heavies that knows how to push the cart, scouts that knows how to do things. Also, one thing, Valve, please, we need to talk about the scout scattergun. It is too overpowered. It is overpowered. Is stronger than the rocket launcher. I'm not even kidding. So, Valve, get working on that, please. So this is the end of the video. If you enjoyed, please give a like, and please subscribe. But before we end, I would like to show you something very important. It is a fun art I just found out that someone made of a bunch of doodles of characters, but look at there. There's the pyro cape, the classic pyro cape I made up. Thanks a lot to PikachuJenn for making this fan art. I really appreciate it. It is the first fan art of any of my contents, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. So I'll end up here. I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.